I go into my class only in the 4th period, right? So I do not have the time to do a morning meeting. Also, I don't believe that morning meetings are something that I can do and just leave it there and then move on with the rest of my day, because I believe that values need to be integrated into the lesson itself. And this is something that the SCRT also says, right? Because I teach English, each of the lesson in the textbook has a value associated or a theme associated. And so I go by that, right? Or I set my own value or theme. In today's class, we were trying to look at how ambiguous situations can be. What I was trying to get at was that sometimes you need to look at the motivation of the person. What I was trying to tie up were like the loose ends I was trying to tie up after like 2 years of studying Harry Potter, where they look at the speech, action, description, drawings, reaction to others, and thoughts of the characters, and then they put it all together and they get, character traits, right? And today we were looking at Harry. What worked? Navsheen beat me in my own lesson. She was 2 steps ahead. So before I even finished going to each of the groups and pushed their thinking, Navsheen's group was already onto character trait analysis. They had all of their data in front of them before I'd even reached the last group. Like 2-3 groups had already started writing down objectives to describe Harry. The toasting was done in about 5 minutes. So we just wound up the class, right? I didn't think there was a need to stretch it any further because the kids got the concept. What didn't work, they didn't need me to do it. They were 2 steps ahead of me. I didn't think they needed me to teach this in class, because I think like 10 minutes of just doing this in class would have been enough. My advanced learners are way ahead of me. So the problem is to keep them engaged. At one point I realized that I was actually holding them back when I kept them in my class. So what I started doing is I started giving them additional reading material, and they could either sit in that class or they could step out. They would either move on to the 2nd book or the 3rd book. But when I'm doing an analysis class, when I'm doing a technical class, or when I'm doing a writing class, they'll come back to class. For the lowest in my class, who can barely even read English, so they have their level books and they have corresponding questions, RC questions. So they work on that, right? Because Harry Potter is too high rigor for them. So I realized that they weren't very engaged in class and they weren't seeing success. So when I'm teaching a technical class again, they will come back to the class. But when I'm teaching only the text, they will sit and they will do their independent reading. So that's how I differentiate in an English class. In a science class, if you finished early, there's again the word wonder wall that you can use, where you can go pick up puzzles, or you can pick up, the kids weren't reading newspapers, so I started leaving them leading questions and then a corresponding article that they could read to find that information. Hot seat is also another form of differentiation actually, because it allows you to, it gives them a taste of success, because it's an oral test, right? So anybody can answer. Maybe kids are not all kids are proficient at writing, but orally they're able to answer. So based on my academic standards, my SCRT academic standards, I can level the questions for them as well. So that's differentiated as well. So even in terms of their projects, they get options between how they want to do their projects and things like that. So some of them could give me a written report, they could do a presentation, they could make me a poster, they could write me an essay, things like that. They could make me a drama. They actually tell me what they want. So even this hot seat, right, they want weekly tests, they want me to create spaces where they can learn from each other. They want me to keep a check on them so that they don't waste time during free periods and that they're studying. So all of that I got from student feedback that I had, a student feedback, teacher feedback session that I had with them. So that was led by another student. It just tells me what the kids want from me, and once I have that, I can plan accordingly.